Hey, Robert, welcome. Come on in and let me pour you a cup of good hot Joe. Old, old Moto, he always has a really good crowd. They come in, they're energetic, and there's always something going on. This whole crew, everybody has a little something they add to it, and it makes it just delightful. We're going to go for a ride. Hey, Evil, we're going to go for a ride today. She told me some things, and we rode the other day on the bike, and she put as much stuff as she could pack on the Harley in the trunk and up on that back and all that stuff. And but we need to have 48 bottles of water, and we need more dog food, and we need cat food. Today we're gonna have to take the pickup truck and get a load of stuff um, to last for a while. American Uncensored, welcome. Yeah, I got to stop over to the shop. There's a mechanical shop over there, and our Hosanna Channel. Good morning from Arizona. My sister lived for a number of years in Cottonwood, Arizona, up along the river up there in Cottonwood. I've got a lot of good, fun memories of Arizona. Spend quite a bit of time in Arizona. Reading off and sick. Hey, buddy. Well, I wished I knew how to do this. I could split the screen and bring you up on one side of the screen with of while you're riding your bike, so the guys could enjoy your ride. Yeah, I got to stop at the shop over in my pickup truck. I wanted to change the fuel filter, and I've got the tool to do it, and I just can't get down under there. I don't have a ramp to drive up on, so I'm gonna take it over to the shop and have them to change out my fuel filter. I've already bought the filter and the tool to do it, so if the guy could just take a few minutes of his time, I'll pay him good and get him to change my fuel filter. It ain't doing anything. The truck's running good, but it's been on there for so many years. I want to change it out. I wish that little old girl would come around here and bring me some. I'm gonna call her and get her. I just need one more cup of coffee. Just one more cup of coffee. That'll do it for me. All we got to do is just get her on the line. She knows. She'll probably have her phone turned off. Let's see. Oh, external up on the frame underneath the driver's seat up on the frame there. Buenos tacos, a little amigo. What's up? Pequito, amigo. Amigo, mucho pequito. You know I don't speak Espanol. Sweetie, could you be so kind? Kind of look into the camera. Look, now you see this? Look into the camera. Look right there. You see how empty my cup is? Oh no! However will you go on? I know, and I will tell you, if you could be so kind, the boys and girls over here are waiting for you to bring me a cup of coffee. Oh, you're and, for cups too? Oh yeah, yeah. Just go ahead and put a big pot on because we got a pretty good crowd in here. Sure, sure. Dave was over there. I hope Dave made it over. We were on the coffee of Motorbomb this morning, having a cup of coffee. So maybe maybe by the time you get here, Dave will be here. See, sure. Dave is her hero. Dave is my hero. All right. No, because we're going to go shopping. You know, we're going to go over there. I got some things to do. So after we wrapped up, you know, this morning after we get a good crew going here, we'll send them on and let them get their day started, and then we'll go. Oh, Walgreens calling. Oh yeah. Okay, so you want a little splash of French vanilla today? No, just bring me some coffee, thanks. Okay, bye. Hi, this is Walgreens. Sure. Details about some prescriptions that are ready for Jerry Turner. Oh, that's good. Okay. Whew. When you get old, you got your pharmacist calling you, your doctor's calling you. The only one you know, the only one that makes me look like this when I see it, you know, comes up on the phone. It says Billy Bob's House of Better Funerals. You know, Shake and Bake Syndicate or something like that. You know, are you ready for your afterlife? You know, I like those. I like those burial places where they give you what they call a two for one. You take out the policy, and when your time comes, you get to take a good friend with you. So I've already put Joe on the list. Oh, he don't want to go, but they're a couple of big, strong guys. They come out, put a pillow over your face, and then the twofer, it's a cheaper that way. So might shop around, folks, when your time comes, when you get my age. Look around for a plan where you can get a twofer because you don't want to go by yourself. You know, to eternity, you want to take a good friend with you. Hell, it's going to be a wild ride. Where's Dave at? Where is Dave? Dave, where you at, buddy? Dave, if you're in here, the little girl, she's gonna bring us a cup of coffee. Yeah, yeah. Shop around when you folks are really young. You don't have to shop around for those shady meadows. You know they've all got these names like it's gonna be so wonderful. It is going to be such a beautiful thing. We'll lay you away with the breath of angels singing in the background. It'll be lovely. It'll be lovely. You got to have a good buddy that'll volunteer to go with you. Now, my buddy Joe already said, "Hell no, I ain't going." But you don't have no choice. The two big guys will come out late at night. Next thing you know, you'll be like Gene Hackman. You know, you'll be gone and not even know what happened. Whoa, what a name of a mortuary. Cold ground. Oh, or how about one like on the other side of the green grass? Yeah, yeah, that's right. Billy Bob's mortuary. You stab them, we grab them. uh, my mother, my mother bought a condo burial site. They paid $1,000. So when her husband died, what was not my daddy, but her husband died, they put him in this long vault. And when her time came, she was supposed to go in the vault. Well, that was up in Washington. And I've already owned a cemetery plot over there that it's a 6-passenger model. I bought a 6-passenger plot. And my mom, we put her in the first spot. And I was supposed to get the next slot next to her. or my sister. Now it's a battle between me and my sister, which one was going to end up there. Well, we've changed our mind. We're gonna do the shake and bake thing. So Angelica's going to take my ashes and put them up there in the urn. And I was telling about when my time comes, you're going to put me up there with mother in that little jug. Yeah, we got this thing laid out, man. It's going to be like you don't even have to take a time off of work, or it's going to be very. It won't be inconvenient for nobody. It'll be like, he sure went quiet. No, they were actually stacked horizontal. But so yeah, she paid for that thing up there. But when my time come to Alabama, my mother said I'm going too. So she moved back to Alabama from up there. I bought my mother a home up close to where we live, 6 miles from where we lived, and she sold that home when she found out I was coming to Alabama. She sold her home, and she said I'm ready to go. And so she moved down here in the county next to me. I moved her down in Jefferson County, and she yeah, she got to be the first one to go into the new plot. Now there's four open slots. No, it's six passengers, five extra slots in there, and everybody else is refusing to go. They go, hell, I don't want to get in there. My brother's already told me he's going to be cremated. And, uh, yeah, in the old days, it was just, you know, um, funerals were like it was the greatest event. You look forward to it when my time comes. And my mother already laid out how she wanted her. She had it all laid out and everything. I don't know when I'm going, so I ain't laying out nothing. I'm one of those guys that lives a life of spontaneity. If I think of it, I'll do it. And at my state of mind, I don't think of stuff a lot, so I don't usually do it. Well, I tell you, they got a plan in Washington State. You can look this up. They put you in like a trash container. It's like a trash bin, and you're buried vertical, and the bin itself is a degradable, biodegradable material. And they put you and they prep you up. They fill your veins instead of um, the stuff to cremate you with, whatever the hell they call that stuff, formaldehyde. They pump you full of stuff that starts to deteriorate you, and you blend into the pot, the the little thing, and you become a tree. You become a tree. I thought that was pretty damn nice too. But then I got to thinking, if I become a tree, every dog in the county would come and piss on me. I ain't kidding you. They'd be hacking their leg on me and go, yeah, old Mac. So I decided not to go in the trash can. It's a wonderful time we live in where you can choose the way you want to go out and how you can process yourself. You pay now and die later. I hate it when they start putting pressure on you. They say, "Are you about ready to go? We got employees coming in for the weekend. Can we work you in this weekend?" No, I ain't going yet. American Outlaw. Good morning. Well, buddy, we're having a one more cup. I've been up for a while, and we'll have one more cup, and then uh, before I think I'll stay on here for quite a while yet, but I'm gonna head out and go to the shop and see if I can get them to stick a fuel filter on. Don't want to go over around noon because they'll be taking off for lunch. This guy that does the work on my pickup truck, he works for the county. He does all the police cars and the county cars. And when you go over there, the place will be just swarming of cop cars. He does them from a lot of different little towns around there. And he used to be the head maintenance guy for that county, and now he's got his own business, and he's good. Oh man, a Ford or a Dodge. They got those Dodge Cruisers and Ford SUVs and stuff, and he knows every detail. They're a really good worker. The price is good. You wouldn't believe. You're in Alabama, and people don't get caught up on ripping you off like that. The big shops like Ford. Hey, Buck Brown. The big shops, they go by a flat rate and all that kind of stuff. Well, not him. Yeah, if he needs a set of tires for his own car and he needs $400 a day, that's what the price is going to be, just enough to buy his tires. He's sort of an interesting guy when you go over. Well, he's got people that does the work. He don't work himself. Now, I like to go in the office and sit with him, and we'll sit there and talk about the good old days. He's almost my age. He's up in time. He's got some time on him. Are you talking to me, Buck? Or something happened in my police department? I live in Alabama, where almost there's always something about the police. Oh no, you're talking to evil. Okay. I saw something kind of disturbing on the phone yesterday. When I picked the phone up, there was a news thing that came up. I don't remember which service it was, but it was a news thing. It could have been Fox News. It came up and said a teenager was killed on the estate of Gene Hackman, that he was fleeing, and they shot him on the estate there where Gene Hackman lived there in New Mexico. And then that story went away last night. The last thing I seen at 11:30 last night, they was going to do the toxicology thing today, sometime this week, and that there was no mention of the teenager being shot and killed by the police there in New Mexico. So I don't know if it was a fluke in the story or maybe they blended two stories together, but it was all about Gene Hackman and his wife suspiciously being found dead after laying up her for a few weeks or a few days at least. But there was two other dogs in the house, and they didn't have it. Maybe they was in an area where they didn't. That's the first thing I suspected too, because there was no sign of trauma on the body, and it made it sound bad. The woman in there in the bathroom, and she had pills spilled out on the floor. If you're fixing to get your morning dose of pills, and all of a sudden you breathe in carbon monoxide and it kills you, you're going to drop the bottle and the pill's going to be, and it makes it look like, oh yeah, they's all doing them drugs and shit. I hate it when the low life and mothers have to work to try to get a horror story I mean, what can't it be just a natural death, an accidental death? Well, it's possible he could have done that, Robert, because he's everywhere. I keep looking over my shoulder. I mean, I expect that any minute he'd be. Oh, I gotta buy me some of them Trump dollar bills, buddy. $33 a piece. You can only use them at the 7-Eleven. Yeah, the pill bottle. The woman was in the bathroom. His wife, 65-year-old wife, was in the bathroom, and the pill bottle was down on the floor. Now, they didn't say she had any pills in her mouth, but made it look like she might have been like, oh, maybe she fed the old man, 95 years, a handful of them pills. Then went and took a few herself and died. Well, pills don't kill you instantly unless it's arsenic. Oh man. Oh hell yeah. He was in the Poseidon Adventure. He was also like in the Batman, the Joker. He was one of them. One of his best was the French Connection. Oh, what is he? Was he playing Popeye Doyle, or was it the character in French Connection? Whew, that was a pretty intense for that period of time, buddy. That was pretty intense movie. If you haven't seen the French Connection, see it. Yeah, they said her hands had already mummified. Now, I guess the skin had drawn up around the bones. That's what they're talking about. So it takes up to 3 weeks for that to occur. Yeah, he was the French Connection is what I remember the boat and the one that stuck out to me. Yeah, he was a lot of other things. Oh, he made a lot of movies. I believe I saw him in Oklahoma Crude. He was like a ramrod at a oil drilling rig. I maybe at my age, I've seen so many movies that they are all starting to roll together. Yeah, the heist, that was a good one. Yeah, they said the hands were mummified already. I mean, the skin had just already had curled up around the bones. Your hand looked like that hand that's in the Crypt Keeper. That hand that always is coming up out of that tomb, the Crypt Keeper. Like hell, my hands begin to look at my hands. Them hands have begun to look like they're already partially mummified. God damn. Weak, 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 weak. I'm a horror movie. Yeah, that was good. Oh, Sigourney Weaver. Everybody, I was a young, already married man when Sigourney Weaver, she came out with that Alien, and she got into that little closet, and the alien was coming closer. That thing would reach out of its belly, and a set of teeth would come out and eat you and everything, and it was getting closer. And she was inside this little closet-like area on the spaceship, and she was breathing, and her breasts were heaving up and down. They were just heaving up and down and heaving. And I went, "Oh my God!" Well, it was a good scene. It stuck with old Mac for quite a while. Well, remember, I was at my age. I'm still remembering that scene from Alien. That was a fine woman back in the day. Hell yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah. Look at these fingers. Them fingers don't work all that good. See that one? That right there is bent over. You know how you want to hear the story how that finger got bent over? All right, so you're going to hear it anyhow because you guys will sat back drinking coffee. I'm going to tell you a story. We went elk hunting and we were way down by by not St. Helens. It was between St. Helens and Mount Rainier. There was an area down there called Packwood. If you look on America on the uh, uh, Google Earth, Packwood sits right at the foot of Mount Rainier, but you turn at Packwood and you go back up in there where we drew an area for us to hunt in. Our tag specified what region we could hunt in. And so we get down on Friday. The hunt does not start till Saturday. So we got in a town called Morton, 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 Washington. So we go into this logging bar. And one of the buddies that's with me was just got out. He was a Navy SEAL. And the other buddy was an Army Ranger. They all was at Fort Seal, not the SEAL. He was at Bremerton, but the guy that was with us there. So the me and the Army Ranger and the SEAL guy, we go in the logging bar and we're drinking and these we were dancing with the ladies and so as the evening wore on, there was a little bit of hostility. I guess the lady was married, the one that was like to dance with me. But so we walked out and we was leaving, and she come up there and we were talking, and we were just saying our goodbyes because I'll never see her again. You know, you meet an old bar fly in a bar, I mean, you ain't never going to see him again. And all of a sudden, I seen the look of terror in her eyes. She had that look, and I kind of looked to the left like this, and a big old fist was coming at me. And I did one of these numbers, and that fist went right by my head. I'm talking about that his button on his coat scraped the side of my face and clipped the back of my ear. Well, when he come forward, this right here was sitting right here, and his head is just over my shoulder. So I put my fist as far into his head as I could go, and my finger hit his teeth right here and broke my finger, doubled it up, and it went in and cut the end of his tongue off. I mean, it flopped out and it was still wiggling. And oh, and in your tongue, you got these great big old blood veins in there, and it was just it was an ugly mess. And anyhow, we ended up the three of us had to fight our way out. These logging people are very intense people. They're kind of like bikers. They were they all thought they was real mean, and they didn't like cowboys at all. The bikers didn't like cowboys, and the loggers don't like cowboys, and we were dressed up like cowboys. So we get out there, and we went up to our campsite, and the Navy SEAL guy said, "I can straighten your finger up for you." So he puts it on the railroad track that was close by. He laid it on the track, and he got a splint, and he pushed it down on top of it. And my other Army Ranger buddy, he put a electrical tape on it to hold the splint to hold it together. And oh, old guys tell a lot of kick-ass story. I was the perfect Rambo radio guy when I was a truck driver. Come 5 o'clock in the evening, Rambo radio comes out. Well, if I catch you up there at that goddamn Flying J, I'll kick your ass. And not only will I kick your ass, but I'll kick everybody's ass in the Flying J parking lot because I'm Rambo Radio. 824. I was just telling a little story about, well, back in our days, youth, when you're young, there's a lot more violence in your life than when you're an older guy. People go, hell, I wouldn't hit him. If you hit him on the jaw, his feet may fall off. He's an old guy. So I play the old card because I don't want no young guy knocking me out. She was this lady. that was in the bar. I did not know that was her husband, but they were separated. And he'd came to the bar and he'd seen her dancing with me and my buddies. She danced with all three of us, but she took a little liking to me. And I was trying to convince her to come up to the camp and have a midnight drink with old Mac at the camp. And by the time the husband showed up, and the ex-husband or the separated husband, I don't like to get involved in things like that because I don't, and I believe in marriages, family marriages and stuff. Leave that stuff alone. Oh yeah, unfortunately, I always carried a knife when we was hunting. I probably had a blade on me right then. I probably had a skinning knife on me on my belt, and I never even thought once about cutting a guy. That wouldn't even cross my mind. But different mentality now. I think we've since that time. See, that would have been in 1970. Yeah, that would be in the fall of 1970. 30, 55 years ago. Hell, that's a long time ago. Times were different 55 years ago. We all had yeah, my. I took my kids to school with guns in my truck right in the back window. I had a good selection of guns hanging right there in the back window. The principal, he had guns in his sitting where the principal parked. There would be guns in the back window of his truck. We lived in the Northwest. You had to have a gun to protect yourself from wildlife. Or if the notion struck you wanted to go hunting, you'd have a gun on you right now so you can go hunting. Yeah, we always had a knife on us, but and our knives had a purpose for carving and cutting and skinning. Never did we ever think about it on a human being. Yeah, you had in the glove compartment, if you had your 30-06 back there, there would be a box of 30-06 in the glove compartment. Uh, yeah, it's just different times we live in. I like the times we're living in. I mean, they're a little chaotic. I just like the fact of being alive at this period of time. You know, you get to see so much. It's like a show that we never got to see. We didn't have electricity until I was 12 years old, so there was no game box or no TVs or none of that stuff. We didn't buy our first TV until 1957. We had to wait for a few years to make sure that there was something that was going to last. They didn't have really any good scheduled broadcasts back in those days. At the beginning, they had were just getting it together. They'd come and go off the air at a moment's notice. They'd put up a little pattern on your screen, and they're off the air. They say KGO, what it will be back in 2 hours, and they'd leave a pattern, maybe American flag in the background or something. When we was young, we would sit around on the weekends, especially. And my dad, he had an old battery powered Philco. You open the back of the Philco radio and you put all these D cell batteries in it. And he didn't allow you to run that radio except when he told you to turn it on, you could turn it on because he didn't want his batteries run down. And we would tune in to the Squeaking Door, Inner Sanctum. We would tune in um, Great Burns and Allen. That's George Byrne and Gracie Allen comedy show. There were so many great. The Fat Man. He was a detective. He would always start to show off. He'd come in, put a quarter and the weighing machine. He'd step up on the scales. You could hear his big old heavy feet hitting the scales, and the little card would come out, and he'd read the fortune. It says, "Fortune, danger." The shadow knows. We had all them talking, all them old shows. We had Amos and Andy. When Amos and Andy was on, the world come to a standstill, and they had to see what old George Kingfish Stevens was going to get into. Him and Sapphire. Holy mackerel, Andy! And yeah, it was a greatest show. I'm telling you. In the radio days, there was two white guys. Freeman Godston and Charles Correll was the Amos and Andy. And then on the TV side, they got some people that did a really good show. But the radio days, it was just wide open. To me, that show was very much like Archie Bunker, All in the Family. When Archie Bunker came back, it was a whole departure from all the protected and sheltered conversations you might have. It was like visiting your old uncle at Thanksgiving. But Amos and Andy was ever much as radical as that show. And then when Red Fox came over with Sanford and Son, oh hell, I loved old Grady. Grady had this magnificent gray beard, a black gentleman with a gray beard, and they liked old Sanford and Grady. They liked to drink Champipple. That's champagne and ripple mixed together. Champipple. They would drink their. uh, yeah. Who's on first and what's on? Yeah. Albert and Costello. Hey, Sterling Will. I am so happy you come over. Now you got to come in here and make my show come alive like you make your show come alive. I don't have any sound effects. Let's see. Well, hello. How y'all doing? Doing. Can y'all hear my echo? Gotta create a sound effect. Walgreens want me to call them. I ain't gonna call them. I'm gonna go over there and not to wear panties. I I'm sure it's happened to a lot of guys. I've gotten up. A lady would take you home in the evening from a bar. That's the way it used to be. The way things would work. You'd go to the bar. You spend a lot of money on this girl, and she'd say, "Why don't you go to our place?" And then, to my place, and we'd go up to her place. But in the night, you'd wake up in the night, and then you have to go to the bathroom. And you ain't never been in that house before, so you find yourself wandering around because most houses are laid out pretty well the same. Once you find the living room, you'll usually find a room somewhere close to the living room where the bathroom is at. And you'd be wandering around in people's houses and to try to find the bathroom. Well, when you first come over in the evening, you would do the romantic thing on the love machine, the waterbed, or whatever. But you'd get up during the night and you put your shorts on to go wandering through the house. Well, this particular time I threw the old shorts on and I went all around and I finally found the bathroom. So I reached in there and I couldn't find it. I mean, I could find there was a bulge there, but there wasn't a slot. I looked all around, man. I used them short type shorts, and I put my damn shorts on backwards. and I gotta go, let me tell you. I ain't telling you boys nothing that you haven't already experienced yourself. You know you have. Wake up in a strange bed and not know where the bathroom is at. Put your it's like wearing panties, Sterling. That's as close as I've ever had to wearing panties. I've never had that experience exactly, but I have had my shorts on backwards. Oh, Evil Rick, buddy. Well, God bless you, man. Thank you very much for coming to see us and spending some time. Be bad, I bad, I'm bad. You remember in that movie where oh, the curly haired guy. Oh God, the two characters they had to go to jail, and the black guy told him, said, "Man, you got to be cool. You know, you got to take charge when you go in." So and they walked in and doing that short legged walk. You know, I'm bad, I'm bad. He's dead now. The little curly headed guy. He was in so many good movies. Blazing Saddles was his favorite as far as I'm concerned. Cleavon Little played the sheriff. Cleavon Little was the black guy. And this little fellow I was talking about, I can't think of his name. Curly headed, big old eye, big blue eyes, and he just was a good actor. I wonder if Sick on his ride yet. He's going to be for those. If you tune in the sixth channel right now, he's going to do a live while he's riding his motorcycle. No, there he is, right there. Oh, Sick. I don't know if you're riding your bike yet or not, because I want these guys here to go check you out on your ride. Oh, I'll know it when you go for your ride, Sick, because everybody here will be over on your page. Because I gotta go to the garage here not too long from now. Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, American Outlaw, what did you do about how are you going to resolve the broken motor mount? You know, that's part of your main case. I may have missed that part. Did you go and get yourself another motor, or are you going to change the engine in it? Because I don't know how. I know when I was a welder, we would put like a block or something that had been soaked in oil. I did this for a doctor. One time I needed surgery and I was laid off from work and I didn't have any insurance. And the guy said, the doctor said, "You are a welder, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Would you weld my motorcycle case up?" I hit a stump, broke my case. And I said, "I can do that for you." So he brought me the case in the box and we stripped it down, took the bearings out and everything. And we took it over to Bowen and put it in the degreaser, big old heavy commercial degreaser. And we took all the oil out of it. And then we V-notched it and went in there. I welded his housing up on his motorcycle. I think it was a KTM. Nice machine. And I welded it up for him and he done surgery for me. See, a little of this for a little of that. It worked out good. That's what you could do back in the days. He was a family doctor. Yeah, I ain't gonna tell you what he had to work on, but there's a whole story involved in what he was doing surgery on. Okay, okay, so that's what you're gonna do. All right, well, at least, uh, you've got a solution to I saw that issue there last year and I went, "Oh, no," because every time you was making so much progress, and then when you encountered that issue, I went, "Oh, that's gonna be a setback." That's the deal about a project, you can overcome a lot of things, you have to think it out, figure out what you're gonna do next, um, and then proceed on. Once you get yourself a plan together, just implement it and move on. That's my daughter. That's one of my daughters right there, and her husband. His father was a command sergeant major. She spent her young marriage in a military facility all over the world. And when he retired out of the military, he become a firefighter. And she's a just a good human being. I will never be as good as she is. She's lived a holy life. I've lived a hellacious life. I might have been off there. I can't tell. No, it looks like I'm still on. I am getting closer to getting uh, my fiber optics in here. I used to be certified. One of my best jobs I ever done for the company. They called me in on a weekend and they said, "We got an emergency. We have a ship down in Argentina. It's called a PHM. We built these ships for the U.S. Navy. The Boeing Aircraft Company did. See, I was in what's called aerospace. We did military contracts only. And they said they hit a whale down there while they were at speed, and it sucked up 50 pounds of blubber through the turbine, and it swelled the turbine housing up, and it cracked the housing. Now they cleaned all the whale out of the turbine house. The turbine, the pump, the inside you got an impella and all that stuff. Well, it packed the meat up so thick inside there, it swelled the pump housing up, and so they had it all prepped. They called me and said, "We got to have you down." So I was certified in flyaway items, government certified by the government to do these wells on these kind of items, whether it be a missile or a boat. And so I went down and they had everything laid out for me, and I got in there. I welded for about 6 hours or so inside the pump. I went inside the pump and welded the whole thing up, and they put the impella in it, put it all assembled, and took it over to McCord Air Force Base, put it out on C-141, and they flew it down to Argentina. Put it, took it out there on a helicopter and or a boat or whatever, and they put the thing back together, and it made it all the way back to Pensacola. That's where they were stationed. Right now, today, they're still down at Pensacola. PHM. A PHM is a 200-foot long, fast hydrofoil boat. It flies on top of the water. It's got these big stainless steel wings that goes down, and when they tilt them down, it rises up 15 feet off the water and whoosh, got two big turbine engines in it, gas turbine engines with about 100,000 watts, 100,000 horsepower. They have a huge horsepower. The two combined engines really make a lot of thrust. They run them into transmissions, and the operator, when he's flying the thing up there, he can control both engines or run one engine. When they're doing a long run for economy, they run on a single engine that runs the pump. Once they get up to speed and get the thing flying, then they can reduce power to a single pump. It's a single motor off of the one pump. Up in New Hampshire, that's a really, yeah, yeah. We've welded in some really tight places. We've been in places where it'd be as many as three welders inside there working. And what happened? You finish. You got your arc going along. You got using a heli arc. You've got in your hand. You got the torch. You got a button right here. You can control everything from this button on the torch. You got a collet body that your tungsten goes in, and so you run your stick out and get the ball on the end for aluminum, and so you got this hand over here is feeding the wire. You're feeding the wire, and so when you get through, you take your hand and raise up your hood, and about that time you raise your hood, the guy right across from you lights off, and that light on heliarc. See, you're working in magnesium, which has a green. I'm sorry, it has the level of magnesium causes it to have a green glow. Now, if you look at light amplification, the different color bands, the intensity, you take a green glow will damage you so much it'll burn your skin away, where a blue glow will cause um, a redness and blistering possibly, but the green one will just eat your ass up. And if you get it right in your eyes, it can burn your retinas and all that stuff. I've got so much eye damage from raising my hood up at the wrong time. And you can't say raising my hood because the noise is so. There's a guy right above you with a 16-pound sledgehammer trying to beat something into place, and then you got a crane going overhead, and that's all you hear all the time inside. You're just all that. Whoa. You have to have earplugs in your ears just so you can hear yourself think while you're welding. No, it ain't just one guy welding there, man. You got a whole entire operation. And then you got these crane operators that would be bringing in maybe a big slab, 2-inch thick steel. They're going to be cutting something out of the steel plate, and he would lay it on a waffle table. A waffle table would be 60 foot long and 15 foot wide or whatever, and he would, when he'd set the edge of it on the plate, edge of the plate on the table, he'd let some slack come in his cable, and that thing, when he let go, it would just go boom onto that table. It shake the down everything he was doing. You have your weld bead go on, and you got your wire in your hand, and you're feeding the wire, and you're getting close, and then you go boom. You dip your tungsten in your puddle. Immediately, you got to cut all that out. You got to bring the inspector in. He's got to give you permission to cut all your wells out. He's got to inspect to make sure that no other damage was done to any other passes you might have made inside the V well. And yeah, there's a lot involved in that, doing that stuff. We used to have tricks that we'd do. We have these. You go down to tool crib and you'd get these little syringes that you would take and squirt epoxy into an area that's a pre-mixed epoxy that was set up in just so many seconds. That would be so that you could hold something in place, and this mixture you could weld through this. In other words, it was like having a vice grip on something, but this was designed for welding, and we'd get these syringes, and you could hold plate, little tabs and stuff that you're going to weld. TIG welding is for welding basically the thinner material. You can V weld, you can do a V weld with it, but or a fillet weld or whatever. But basically, it's where you need the penetration on something thin. And well, we'd get these syringes. These guys would. We wouldn't. Welders wouldn't do it, and they would put it inside their glove, and they'd have it filled full of water, and the tip of it would be sticking out of their finger right here. So they just squeezed their palm and that water, and they'd walk up behind you, and you'd be down here welding, and you see a shadow of something on your. See, you got an inside lens, and you see a shadow on that lens, something go by, and he would squirt that water down inside your helmet while you're welding. And time you got your helmet up and looked around, there would be nobody around. He'd either squat down behind another table or whatever. Oh, now you got to take your lenses out. You got like 3 lenses in there. You got a cover shield, you got your lens, and you got another cover shield. You got to dry all this water off because everything is shimmering in front of you when you're welding. Or if you're running say a wire machine, up on the top of the machine there's a wire feeder. You got a big roll of wire up there, and you got a tweaker whip in your hand, and you'd be welding, and the guy would just reach over and turn the wire feed off. It would touch a button, and that shut your wire feed down. Your gas would keep coming out, but your wire would stop right there. And then you'd fall into your puddle because your nozzle, you sort of lean on your weld as you're going along. You're holding your arm perfectly at the right distance, the right angle, and everything. And all of a sudden, when the power goes out, you'd fall right into your puddle. No, you physically wouldn't be in the puddle, but your nozzle would be in the puddle. And then you had to break your nozzle loose, and they may even dip your collet in there. The collet is what holds the different diameters of wire. You can change the different diameter for, if you're running 332 or 532 wire, 5/16, whatever size wire you're running. If you're running flux core, it's bigger wire. Running dual shield, you got not only the helium or argon or a mixture of gas, you've also got a core of solder. You have a flux in the middle of the wire. Dual shield, and that is for high, where you really cannot have any kind of inclusions or a slag or stuff like that. Where you have an area where you got a lot of wind blowing, you got to have a dual shield, shielded by the gas, and the wind can blow the gas away, but the flux will protect the weld while you're welding. The flux boils up to the top, and it comes off it peels right off. Then we have, when we was doing the Minuteman silo, the bands, the 5/8 thick, no, 7/8 thick, 7/8 thick material around the liner steel. We would have to weld vertical. We'd put what's called a tack tram. You'd set up a set of tracks right along the side where your two pieces come together, deeply V'd. And that machine was, it would run vertical, and it was a computer control system. And boy, that was really neat. You'd take off and watch the thing run. You kept your shield down, and then when you'd get to the end of the plate or whatever, 8 foot away, you'd have to stop it and go back on the tracks, roll it back down the tracks, and that was a really good welding there. You just sit there and watch the thing, watch it go up through there. I think it was called electro beam slag. Electro beam is one of the processes we had. And then, of course, you got one of the best of all is where you're welding. What the hell was that process called? You didn't even have to have, it was a flux core. flux core welding, I believe they call it. You start and you have a hopper that holds 25 pounds of flux right up above the track system, and your hopper will be filled full of flux, and it fed down around your nozzle, and the welding was all under this melted flux, and you never saw any flame. You could you have your bare eyes, and you didn't want to do that because occasionally it would burst back, and you could get slag in your eyes. But um, yeah, that flux core welding, that was a good. We'd watch it um, run for. Sometimes you'd have 150 foot long seam you'd have to weld up. And when you just look back, and that flux would boil up to the top, and then it would start rolling up and peel itself off and fall off. You didn't have to have a chipping hammer or nothing. You had to have a broom. You had a little old brush. You'd brush all the flux off. Hey, Moto. Well, I've been doing nothing but just talking and talking and talking while you was gone. See, the reason I do a lot of talking is I've got a lot to say and a short time to do it in. Oh, I gotta look at it. Oh, I gotta see it. I gotta see it right now. I think I heard it beep there a while ago. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Buddy, I don't get no better than that. If I can get it where you can see it. Come on. Come on. Get in there and get me a focus. Almost. No, this camera will not focus that close. My GoPro, you can get right up on the lens. So move it back here, I guess. That is a fine poor man breakfast. Mm-mm-mm. You're going to be pretty soon. It'd be spam I am. I think I've told some of these guys when we was truck driving way back in the 50s, or well, it'd be the almost 60s. It'd be 1959. We was running up and down the valley over there in San Joaquin Valley. Yeah, it would be, yeah, 1960, I guess it was. Um, this buddy of mine, we had been down in Los Angeles, and we came over the Grapevine, and we struggled with that hill. Back in them days, our big old diesel engine was only 235 horsepower, and it was a Peterbilt truck with a 235 horsepower turbocharged engine. Anyhow, we humped up over the Grapevine, kind of rolled over into Bakersfield, and I was getting mighty, mighty hungry. And he said, "Hey, right up here, north of Bakersfield, I got a girlfriend that lives up there, and it's about the time if I roll in there, I get her to fix us a sandwich." So we rolled in there, and she went over and got a can of Spam, a round can of Spam, and she sliced off half-inch thick slices of Spam, and she put that in a skillet, and she fried it, and then she turned it over after it got golden brown. Then she put a layer of that commodity cheese, that good creamy commodity cheese, and she laid out a slab of that on it. When that commodity cheese started melting on that golden brown side, she took her spatula and put it over on bread. And when she had my sandwich, her and my buddy went to the back room back there, and they ate their sandwich again. I'm sure they was back there eating. I can almost assure you that's, yeah, he was hungry just like I was, because he come out smiling. It must have been good. His sandwich was probably better than mine. But yeah, that was a place we stopped in often. She was on welfare, the young woman was, and but she always she'd always welcome us with open arms when we go there. One time, I had a beard about the size of this one here. It wasn't a very big one, and I started to go out, and she gave him a big old kiss. She gave him a big old kiss and everything, and I was standing there, and I'm fixing to turn to walk away, and she grabbed me just like this. She grabbed my beard and she yanked me over and put a kiss on me, a good old nice kiss, you know. She said, "I didn't want you to do without." But oh man, I like that, just yanked my beard, you know. And she was back in the days. I used to have black hair. Well, you can see my eyebrows. I still got some dark in it at 85, almost 85. But that was my beard was that color, maybe a little darker in those days. And she she didn't want me to go without. Oh, we run up the old 99 highway. We haul so many loads. We haul figs. We haul everything, apples, and we haul cantaloupes. I mean, the cantaloupe run, you work your ass off on the cantaloupes because you have to lower the side of the truck down, and then the ramp tips over, and all the cantaloupes roll down on this thick padded side over on the conveyor belt, and then they thing would roll your truck back up, and then you drive away. One load after another of cantaloupes. That's in the San Joaquin Valley. Two four lives a good life, man. Up there in Nova Scotia, he's got that Garden of Eden he lives in. You know, he's the park master, and anytime your toilet gets backed up, they call the park master. My septic line is all plugged up. You're gonna have to come over here and bring the rotor. That'd have to be a headache to be working where you've got a lot of different people, and all of them having a bad day. And I bet being a motel manager, like a little flop house, like say Motel 6, you know, oh my God, the stories you'd have to have. Or being a taxi driver. Oh, don't you know they get in some juicy stories being a taxi driver. They uh they hear it all. Oh man, I'm getting a long coffee already. She asked me that I want some Baileys in my coffee. Now, not one shot of Baileys is not gonna make you walk sideways or nothing like that. But be my luck, on this day they'd have the roadblock set up over at the church. They always set the roadblock right on the church on the Empire Road and doing a breathalyzer test. You know, you hillbillies might be drinking something today, and we got to make sure we eradicate the road from heathens like you. All right, boy, blow in this thing right here. American Outlaw, do you call them hosers? All them Canadians coming over there in Bismarck, do you call them hosers? Do you hear about the two Mexican brothers that came across the border? The one brother, his name was Jose, and the other brother was named Hose B. That's such a stretch. this one Mexican guy came into America and stayed for a while, but he couldn't stay very long. I think immigration finally run him out of the country, but he got back over and they said, well, what was it like? What was it like living in America? He said, well, I went to the American people love all Mexican people. He said, oh, really? Yeah. He said, I went to a ball game and I guess they saw me sitting over there and they all started singing and they kept asking me. They thought I had some kind of an eye problem because they kept saying, Jose, can you see? And I kept saying, yeah, I see real good, man. And he said, every time I went to a game, there was always, Jose, can you see? God damn, my show is deteriorating. Well, it wouldn't be bad if they came over and to America and smuggled in some of that good Canadian bacon or maybe some of that good Canadian syrup. Yeah, they got the maple leaf, on their flag or on the logo and whatever. They're noted for their Canadian the syrup, maple syrup. Yeah, that'd be a good exchange. All right, you can come into Bismarck, but you got to have 3 gallons of syrup and 10 pounds of back bacon and a case of Molson Canadian. A little of this for a little of that. You come across the border with your maple syrup and your back bacon and your Molson Canadian, and we'll let you stay a week and come back next week. One time I had an issue with Coca-Cola. I was drinking rum and Coke, a lot of rum and Coke, and my doctor suggested I'd get off the Coke. And so I switched from rum and Coke for at least 10 years, CC and 7. I You saw old Mac, you saw a bottle of CC, and you saw they always had 7 Up, CC and 7. I took his advice. It worked out really good. You can see it worked good because I'm still here. Just saying. I'm not suggesting anybody go out and start drinking CC and 7 just to get more longevity, but if it worked for me, it's bound to work for you. Just saying. Wow, turkey. Oh, let me tell you, somebody at Fort Lewis had been down to Fort Benning, Georgia. And when they came back from Fort Benning, Georgia, they was at the jump school. If you've been to Fort Benning, they've got a jump, where they got the 200-foot tower and you do your jump stuff. Well, they came back to Fort Lewis and they brought back Old Rebel Yell. You can look it up. It's a real whiskey. Old Rebel Yell and Wild Turkey and Grandpa. Yeah, yeah, they had all those Southern names. And they also brought back a quart jar of moonshine from Georgia. They was at Fort Benning, Georgia. So they found a local shiner they got brought back a quart of it. Oh man, the troop, he was popular till that ran out. Because see, that moonshine makes you want to fight. We called it Wildcat when I came up. The modern people started calling it moonshine, I think, when the movie got popular. But in our days, you had Wildcat. Wildcat was homemade whiskey, and it'd make you mean. Well, it didn't take much for a coal miner to get mean. They just lived a hard life. Well, I think probably is Sick is probably getting ready to go do his ride. Motorbomb, I'm glad you made it to work safe. American Outlaw, keep your chin up. One of these days, that arm's going to be working really good. 2-4, the snow is going to go away soon. Life is going to be good again. Uh-oh, I hear the little one. Well, here, yeah. The little one's getting herself ready to go to town. I have no choice but to start getting ready. I already know what we're going to have for lunch today. I already know. I planned it out yesterday. So when I get back from going to town, I'll cook lunch and all will be right with the world. I was over there. I got me a 24 pack 2-4 over there at the Piggly Wiggly. Of course, you know my beer Yingling. I like the Yingling. The reason being is if I do all this stuff with American flag, American flags, American flag, American flag, if I do all this stuff, you got all this stuff going on. Your theme in your mind is all about patriotism. And since Yingling Brothers is the oldest brewery in America, it's not owned by the Germans. It's not owned by the people in Saudi Arabia. It's not an Iranian company. It's an American guy. I'd have nothing against any of those other countries. They can make all them stuff they want to. Budweiser, of course, and when I came up, that was my mom's favorite beer. Hey, Ben. But my day has already been blessed. I've got friends to talk to. My feet hit the floor. I got to go get me a new gas filter put on my truck. And today, I've got the filter and I've got the tool to put it on. I'm going to have a guy to put it on for me at the shop. If I can get him to work me in, I'll pay him good. I'll show you. Let me show you this. Um, he's a country guy. If I can find it here, he's just an all American. He's a country sort of guy. Yeah, here we go. Um, him being a country boy, I tell him, I said, you put that filter on, and this is going to be you, right? This is just for you right here. Yeah, you just you slip that filter on, and this will be you some pocket money for the weekend, just for you. In fact, I like you so much that I'll give you a pair of these right here just to slip my fill filter on. He go, hey, yeah, I'll do it for you, buddy. Shit. Get the hell out of my way and let me get my creeper and get under your truck and get that damn son bitch and filter on there for you. Shit. I get it for you right now. So when he gets out from under there, he'd be greasy and oily and all that stuff, and maybe gasoline dripping all in his face. And I'll just take these $100 bills and just stick them in his shirt pocket. I go, good guy, good man, good man. And he drives away and said, come here, Edgar. That old crazy man from Coleman County, he done gave me that damn $200. Oh shit, let me see that. Let me see that. And then he looks at it real close and he go, oh, you sons of a bitch, look at you right there. He done screwed you over. Shit. What does it say right there? Play money. Well, you can only take advantage of a friend one time. They won't fall for it twice. Well, that's one thing about being here in Alabama. They will fall for it twice, but not 3 times. Well, in some areas, maybe 3 times. You'd be hard pressed to get somebody to fall for the same thing 4 times. But maybe in Birmingham. No, I'm just saying it could happen in Birmingham. And y'all have a great day. I've only been on for an hour and 19 minutes. Ben, I'm not leaving just because you got here, but I've got to run to the. So now you people ain't never going to trust me. You ain't never. Oh, here comes a little heifer. Not heifer. Come over and see how good looking you look today. Not a heifer. She don't like to be called a heifer. I ain't gonna leave till she comes over and says hello to everybody out there. She's now don't leave yet, sick. The little one, the girl wonder. Here comes the girl wonder. Hey, honey, hit that stove. Turn that heater off. You got to get ready to shut this operation down here. Come right over here and park it on the old Mack shoulder. Now, you're right behind. Look, I'm two heads.
We're a twofer.
Oh, man, I tell you, I went to the doctor and he said, oh, you got a bad growth on your shoulder there. I'm going to have to lance it. So, anyhow, as you can see, we're gonna. Do you have any good words? There's Ben Tipton in here. There's Sick Bastard in here. American Outlaw. You know he's up in Bismarck, up there where it's cold. You got your 2-4 up there in Nova Scotia. What is in Nova Scotia that we really love?
Trailer Park Boys.
What?
Trailer Park Boys.
Speak slower and clearly where we can understand you.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, and what's the other show?
Just Passing Through.
Just Passing Through.
They just did a third season.
Well, we watched all the seasons.
There's only 2 seasons.
What happened when Mr. Leahy died? The show went away, right?
Did it?
Yeah, they could never come back again. I've never seen any episodes after Mr.
Well, they have
Leahy.
SwearNet, don't they?
Oh, SwearNet, yeah. But if you want a good belly laugh,
Mr. Leahy, Mr. Leahy.
Yeah.
What do you want now, Randy?
Yeah, I like what's the old boy? He's
Which one?
His buddy that stays with him a lot. The big fat boy never has a shirt.
Randy.
Randy's
his boyfriend. He just won't. Mr. Leahy just won't admit it.
Well, they never just say it was a boyfriend.
Well, it's implied by Randy.
Yeah.
On more counts than one.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Leahy is what held that.
I think he held the show.
Bubbles, he's got the real genuine band called the Shit Kickers, and he came to America and did a tour in America. Bubbles and the Shit Kickers, and yeah, it was a real. He really played. He's a musician. And Ricky, I've seen him in a few things, but it was a funny show. I even watched. Americans like Snoop Dogg went up to the Trailer Park Boys and stayed up there. Him and Tom Arnold. Tom Arnold paid Ricky $10,000 to be able to make love to his wife. And
Snoop Dogg where they used the little train to.
And then Bubbles came up with the idea of sending drugs from Nova Scotia over to America by putting a pipe under the water, under the river, and put railroad tracks inside the pipe and ran his model train all the way to Canada and delivered drugs to Snoop Dogg in America.
That's one way of getting.
Yeah, man, I had laughed my head off, and they was always getting busted. And every time they went to prison, you'd always see Julian be up there with a big old shot glass of rum and coke, and
yeah, that's it. I thought it was whiskey.
Yeah, rum and coke, and he's always got his whiskey in his hand, right inside the prison, making deals with the warden, cutting him in on the profits of Nova Scotia.
Yeah, right there.
Well, folks, it's hard. It's hard for old Mac to end it. It is. It's hard to end a good show when you got good people like yourself right here. But we're gonna say our goodbyes, and we wish everybody a really good weekend. You're gonna run across old Mac somewhere on the weekend. And I got a video. I'm gonna post up a video of our little ride. So, as they say in the movies, hasta la vista, baby. Bye. Oh, I can't go to the main Stargates and tip it up. Say,
fine.
I'm just where I can see the baby. Turn the baby sideways.
Yeah, me too. He's a little camera shy today.
He is such a doll. That little guy, he sure makes our life complete. So with that, we'll say sayonara, goodbye, love you.